Absolutely no one, I repeat, no one could possibly accuse me of not having enough gear for any given situation. At least, I like to frame it as being overprepared rather than calling it what it probably really is. I carry around too much gear all the time. That being said, choosing what gear to bring with you can be a really difficult thing to do. Do you have enough? Do you have too much? Are you missing anything that's going to be vital? So in this video, I want to talk to you about the gear that I carry with me and also go through a process that might help make this whole packing thing a little bit easier for you each time you have to do it. And if you stick around, I've actually got a little gift for you closer to the end of the video that should make your life a lot easier too. Totally free. Presents for you. Now, just to be clear, I don't always carry around the same gear with me. Things change, different situations call for different equipment, and that's what makes this video different than just another what's in my camera bag video. As much as we all love those videos, we're gonna talk a little bit more about the process of choosing gear and why, rather than just the gear itself. But of course, I will talk about the gear and I'll leave links down in the description if you wanna check any of it out. So the way that I think about the gear that I'll need for any situation is by breaking it down into different categories. So let's kick things off with category number one, the bag. Which bag you choose can make a huge difference in how much you can carry with you, so this is an important choice to make. Sometimes I pick the bag that I want and that tells me how much gear I'm going to be able to carry, but other times it's the opposite of that and the gear that I'm going to need for the shoot tells me which bag I need to pack. I've tried a lot of different bags in the past and I have a few that I really like. The Wander Duo is my favorite daily carry bag. I can get a camera, a couple of lenses, and then a whole bunch of little extras in there, but it's not too big and it forces me not to carry too much gear. The Nomadic Peter Mckinnon bag, I've been using a bit more lately when I need to carry a lot of gear. There's a ton of space in there and it's well organized. The biggest downside is that it's big, heavy, and honestly, if I have all of that space available to me, I fill it up and then sometimes I regret it later when I'm hiking up a mountain with 30 pounds of camera gear on my back. We've been going for just under a kilometer now. It is all uphill. I am very much wishing that I didn't bring a 30-pound backpack full of camera gear. And then my favorite bag of all time and still reigning champion is the Wandered Provoke 31 liter. It is so versatile, so well thought out. It's light, but it's rugged. It's got a decent amount of space for camera gear, and the roll top allows for a lot of flexibility for what else you can bring as well. It'll get me through a weekend trip or even a little bit more, or it could just go to work and back, no problem. Okay, so category number two, of course, is the cameras. Daily, I usually carry one camera with me, and that is the Sony a7 III, and it stays in the bag with the lens on it, ready to go at a moment's notice. If I feel like I need it, I'll also bring a backup camera like my Sony a6600. This has two purposes. The first is as a prop. I run a YouTube channel where I talk about camera stuff. Often I need shots of me either holding or using camera stuff. The second reason I bring this camera is as a backup. If something were to happen to my Sony a7 III, then I know I have a backup so I don't miss any of the shots I might need. Now, this is gonna depend a lot on which cameras you have available to you, and it's gonna change a little bit for me now that I have the Sony a7S III, which I am filming on right now. But again, it depends on the situation. Now, if you're the kind of person who wants to have an action camera, 360 camera, or a compact camera like the Sony ZV-1, this would be where you would want to add that to your packing list. A smaller camera could either be a backup camera or it could be a third one to get special shots that you can't get with one of these bigger cameras. Now, of course, once we have cameras, we're gonna need lenses. This is probably the most difficult part for me. I want to bring them all. I don't want to have to pick favorites amongst my babies. And I'm always worried that I'll be missing something when the moment calls for it. So I've developed a bit of a process that helps me get over that. Priority number one is a mid-range zoom. For a while, my go-to was the Tamron 28-75 f2.8, but I just recently picked up the Sigma 24-70 f2.8, so I've been using that a little bit lately as well. If I can only bring one lens with me, it's going to be my mid-range all-arounder like this. I find these zooms are just wide enough to film myself at an arm's length or to shoot landscapes, and it's just telephoto enough to get a bit of a reach and to shoot portraits with. You could also look into something like a 24-105 if you wanted a bit more reach than what these offer. And for my APS-C friends in the room, this would be like a 16-50 or an 18-55 or even an 18-105 if you wanted that little bit of extra reach. Okay, priority number 2 is the ultra wide zoom. Right now this would either be the Tamron 17-28 f2.8 or it would be the Sony Zeiss 16-35 f4. Because I am patiently, maybe not so patiently, waiting for Sigma to make a 16-35 f2.8. The G Master is a beautiful, beautiful thing, but it is just so expensive. And for my APS-C friends again, you would be looking at something like a 10-18 millimeter. The reason that my ultra wide zoom is my next priority is because technically with the mid-range zoom, I could still punch in on the image afterwards, but I can't make it any wider than the widest angle I can shoot at. Now again, it would just be one mid-range zoom and one wide zoom. I wouldn't bring all 4 of these. Priority number 3 is prime lenses. I will typically take 1, maybe 2 prime lenses with me. Generally, this will either be my 35mm f1.8 or my 55mm f1.8, but personally I value the flexibility of zoom lenses way more than the shallow depth of field of prime lenses. The nice thing about both of those options is that they're super tiny, super light, and they don't really take up any space in the bag, so I'm not too stressed to just toss them in, just in case. That being said, some prime lenses don't really fit that description if you got a big honkin' 85 f1.4 or something like that, so it may be a bit different for you depending on what you've got in your kit. And finally, priority number 4 is a telephoto zoom. I currently have 2 telephoto zooms that I rotate between, the Sony 70-200 f4 and the Sigma 100-400 f5 to 6.3. This is always a super tough call because they're both really big and heavy and take up lots of space, so they don't often make it into my bag unless I know I'm gonna be shooting something that calls for it. But when I do bring them and use them, I find I get a really unique look because not everybody has telephoto zoom lenses. The 4th category is going to be filters. I have a bunch of different filters that I like to carry from time to time, including polarizers, neutral density filters, diffusion filters, and one that always makes it into my bag no matter what is a variable ND filter. For me, as an on-the-go kind of photographer and videographer, the flexibility and ease of use that goes with a variable ND is just perfect. And right now, I'm super excited about some new variable NDs that I got from PolarPro. They've actually sponsored this portion of the video and asked me to share some of the new stuff that they've come up with. So these are the new Peter Mckinnon Edition 2 variable NDs and mist variable NDs from PolarPro. The new filters feature a built-in feedback system so you can physically feel where each stop is. This is super handy for calculating any adjustments you might need to make to your settings without ever having to actually look at the filter itself. And the mist version of this filter is the first ever combination diffusion and variable ND filter, so you can get a dreamy halation in your highlights and have a variable ND at the same time without having to stack multiple filters on top of each other, which could potentially cause a reduction in quality. And PolarPro have done this in a very specific way where you get the benefit of a beautiful bloom in your highlights without losing a ton of contrast in your shot like you would see on a lot of other diffusion filters. So you get to add some of that dreamy look without losing the punch. And my absolutely favorite upgrade from the original filter set is the brand new Defender 360, which acts as both a lens cap and a case for your filter. So you unscrew the back from your filter, leaving the lens cap portion on so that you don't actually have to touch the filter to screw it onto your lens. No fingerprints on your filter. The back part that you took off then screws onto the front for storage so that you're left with only one piece to toss back in your bag or in your pocket until you need it next. When you're done with the filter, you put the Defender 360 back on, unscrew the filter from the lens, and then replace that back piece to get your full protection case again. The original Defender was awesome as a lens cap and works similarly to how the lens cap portion of the new version works, but I love the addition of the back piece and the fantastic idea to make the whole thing connect together the way that it does to be the actual case for your filter. So if I wanted to minimize how many filters I was carrying, I could just grab a 2 to 5 stop and a 6 to 9 stop, toss them in my bag, and be totally covered. And if I wanted to carry more than that, I could also bring some kind of a filter case like this one from the Nomadic Peter Mckinnon line. My desk is starting to get a little full. Next on the list of categories is computers. This is generally a pretty quick one for me to decide. Do I need a computer for what I'm doing or not? For certain things like going away for a weekend, I'll bring my laptop, which is a 15-inch MacBook Pro. This is basically if I decide I'm gonna wanna do any kind of editing. For other things like heading to work where I might wanna take notes, but I don't necessarily need to do any editing, I'll just bring my iPad, which is the 11-inch iPad Pro. I almost never bring both at the same time. And most of the time, if I'm just going out to shoot, I don't bring either. All the bags that I mentioned before all have some kind of a dedicated laptop and tablet spot where I store these. All right, so now we've jam-packed our bag full of electronics, so the next category that we're going to need is power and memory cards. I'm just gonna clear a little bit of space though. Just gotta clean up after myself, you know? There we go. Generally, I try to bring some sort of power source for each piece of electronic equipment that I bring. I want to make sure that I can charge up each of the things that I have. I love things like these handy little organizers. I usually have at least 2 or 3 of them in my bag to just make things nice and easy to know what I need to grab. So this one here I usually use for most of my power stuff. I've got wall plugs, I've got cables, and then usually I bring at least 1 portable power bank. Most of the time I carry this Excitrus 9600 milliamp hour battery. It's got both USB-A and USB-C, and it can quick charge at 45 watts. But if I need a bit more kick, I have this Zenger, which is 26,800 milliamp hours, and it'll put out 100 watt max on the first 2 ports, so I can actually charge my 15-inch MacBook Pro with it. It's a bit bulkier though, so generally I go with the smaller one unless I absolutely need the bigger one. And of course, a battery charger for my camera batteries. Gotta make sure you have that and any cables that go along with this. I really like this little dual one because I can charge 2 batteries at the same time and it's pretty low profile. I usually bring some kind of a little SD card case like this one that is the Peter Mckinnon Nomadic one. And Peter Mckinnon is getting quite a lot of shout outs in this video. This one's nice because it's soft and slim, but I also have one from PolarPro that's a hard case and I've got the perfect spot for it in my wander bag. So I just swap it out depending on which bag I'm gonna use. And then of course we've got the little case for the batteries. On the wandered bag, it actually has a spot for batteries in the side compartment, so I don't actually need to have a case, but with the Peter Mckinnon bag, I use his case. And as for the actual cards themselves, I've got kind of a mishmash of things. I've got a little bit of SanDisk, a little bit of Sony, and a little bit of ProGrade. I basically just get whatever seems like a good deal at the time and whatever speed I need. So recently I had to upgrade my cards because of the A7S III and its new requirements for speed. Okay, let's set this stuff aside. Set this stuff aside. The next category on the list is the support category. This would basically be anything that you use to support your camera, like a tripod, a strap, a gimbal, a slider, etc. Most of the time I carry around the 3-legged thing Punk's Brian tripod. It's pretty darn small, super light because it's carbon fiber, and I love how tall it can go when I'm filming myself. It also fits conveniently into the side pocket or water bottle pocket on all of these different bags that I talked about. I also bring a neck strap with me. I've been using the PolarPro belay because it has this awesome quick release system, and I also keep the PolarPro Traverse quick release attached to the strap of my backpack. So either way, I can keep my hands free when I want them, and it uses the same quick release plate system. In fact, the strap is kind of a backup. I use the Traverse most of the time. Some other things that might fit into this category are the plates that you might need for any of your tripods or quick release systems. And also if you have any movement-based support items like gimbals or sliders, sometimes I'll toss a small gimbal in the roll top of my wandered bag, or I've got this tiny little slider from Smarta that I don't end up using a lot of the time, but it's small enough that I can kind of just like toss it in my bag. Just in case I need that kind of slider movement, I've got it. Okay, the next category that we have to check off is audio equipment. As a full-time audio engineer, this is one of the most important to me, and I like to have options for different situations. Generally, I like to either have the Rode VideoMic NTG or Deity D3 as my main mic, and then the Deity D4 Duo as a backup and second camera mic. And then on top of that, I like to bring the Rode Wireless Go as my wireless option, usually with the Deity WLav Pro as my actual lav itself. The nice thing about these options is that they don't take up much room, and with the Rode splitter cable, I can actually run a wireless lav and a shotgun at the same time. And if you want to see how I do that, there's a video link down in the description. I explain the whole thing. If on-camera audio isn't going to cut it for you, this would be a good place to consider something like a small field recorder like a Zoom H1 or something along those lines. After audio, we have lighting. This is generally a pretty quick list. I basically always keep one Aperture MC in my bag at all times. I rarely use it, but it's there just in case. There are tons of options for these kinds of little lights out there, but I really love the Aperture MC. It's RGB, so you can do all sorts of different colors with it, and it barely weighs anything or takes up any space, so it's easy to throw in the bag. And finally, last but definitely not least, we have what I call accessories and daily carry. This is pretty much the anything else category. The main portion of this is an organizer bag that I keep card readers, dongles, extra cables, hard drives, and a pencil with gaff tape wrapped around it, which is this genius idea that I inherited from watching one of Valentina V's Instagram stories. On top of whatever's in the organizer, I'll usually bring a little bit of cleaning stuff, like a rocket blower, maybe a couple of lens cloths, any cold shoe accessories that I might need. I've got this top handle, and then I've got this little mirror that I used for my A7 III. I like to bring this color checker just as a little bit of a safety. And then often in the tablet pocket, I'll keep a gray card and a white card for white balancing. Basically at the start of the shot, I just hold up one of these and then I can use that for white balance later on. And then I've usually got a couple of kind of daily carry items like AirPods Pro, a knife, or even a multi-tool sometimes. So that's it. I think I got everything. Again, you cannot say that I am not prepared for almost anything. Earlier, I mentioned that I had a little gift for you that would make it easier for you going forward. If you go down to the description of this video, there's a link in there where you can go download a worksheet. It's kind of a packing checklist that you can go through this whole process, each category, and make sure you know what you're going to bring with you when you go out on any shoot. And if you download that and fill it out, make sure to take a photo and post it on your Instagram story. Tag me in it. I'd love to see what you guys are packing. That would be really awesome, and I can share some of them with the community. And as always, I want to hear what you guys think about this method of packing, going in categories like that. Leave a comment down below, and on your way down there, make sure to hit the like and subscribe button, hit that bell notification so you don't miss out on future reviews and tutorials, and I'll see you next time. Holy bananas.